What would you say if we could get rid of the rosters? I know what you're thinking. There's no way. Yeah, I know. I feel that vibe. Except it just got introduced in the halls of Congress by leading Republicans. There's lots of reasons why this is a big deal. And on top of that, it also goes down the reasoning of why it's a big deal. Guys, this is going to be one you're going to want to send out because this is going to affect every gun owner in the United States should this continue. Everything's going to be linked in the description box below. Of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. You alone can stick your finger in the eye of the YouTube algorithm seeking to destroy our reach through no notifications and eliminating the subscribers on our subscriber list. Make sure you have not been succumbed to that evil. All right, at Braden LOA on X, let's get it. So here, the bill that we're talking about is the Modern Firearm Safety Act. Now, there's a lot of things that are important about this, but one of those things that's really key is who's doing it. You've got Darrell Issa from California. You've got Elise Stefanik in New York. Okay, those are two leading Republicans. This is not freshman Republicans. This is established, high level in the establishment Republicans. That's why this is important. I'm not going to tell you the outcomes. I can just tell you why that's a big deal. Let's keep going, though. This is called the Modern Firearms Safety Act. So this is the press release from Darrell Issa on July 24th. This happened on Friday. Today, Congressman Darrell Issa from California and Congresswoman Elise Stefanik from New York reintroduced legislation to eliminate unconstitutional handgun rosters that prevent law-abiding citizens in California and New York from freely purchasing modern handgun models. That's the entire premise of this. They are deciding what you can and cannot buy because some pencil-necked pin pushers in the legislatures of California and New York decided there is a certain list of which you are allowed to have your rights, of which they will deem what is on it, because of evil features. The reason this is important to kill is because they use these blue bastions like New York and California and Illinois as templates in test zones to push out on the rest of the population. The next step is purple states. It's exactly what they do, but let's continue. That's why it's important. Quote, "For decades, the clear constitutional rights of law-abiding gun owners have been targeted for elimination, and handgun rosters are only one of the cynical schemes used to undermine the Second Amendment through the pretense of firearm safety," said Representative Issa. "These rosters impose excessive and unnecessary requirements that actually restrict access to firearms equipped with the most up-to-date safety features. And that's why I'm proud to partner with my friend Representative Stefanik to defend sacred rights and these unjust restrictions." I'm going to walk you through a few of the highlighted points, and then I'm going to show you the actual bill. But this is a very good way to go out about this. Focus on the safety issues that are presented. Focus on what they're basically not allowing the population to have that are their rights, and the negative implications of their push for control and tyranny. That's the entire purpose, okay? Now, the Modern Firearms Safety Act prohibits all states from requiring gun manufacturers to adopt costly and unnecessary features, including loaded chamber indicators, magazine disconnect mechanisms, and microstamping to sell the firearms nationwide. Yep, It's a chilling effect. Let me keep going. This legislation would ban Albany Democrats from imposing illegal handgun roster requirements meant to deter gun ownership. That's the chilling effect I was telling you about. It's all about making it too costly and too cumbersome and too annoying to actually get your rights. That's the idea. That's why they do all the things, from the licensing fees to the permitting fees to the paying for your background check to paying for the fingerprinting, 12 hours of training of which you pay for. That's the entire point. It's not meant to make you more safe. It's meant to dissuade you away from your rights. That's the whole point. It's a game. Liberal states use handgun rosters to violate the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens. The Modern Firearms Safety Act will put a stop to these unconstitutional rosters and uphold Americans' rights to bear arms, said Representative Gooden. And now I'm going to show you the actual document that has been submitted as the bill. This is H.R. 9388, if you're looking for it, in the 118th Congress, or 119th Congress, rather, excuse me. All right, so the entire point here: to prohibit the imposition of requirements that handguns have certain features generally absent from firearms in common use, and to restore their civil and natural rights of Americans in states hostile to liberty and for other purposes. That common use is going to pop up again and again and again. That there's a reason that it pops up again and again and again, is because that's what makes it unconstitutional to go against things that are in common use. It's going to be the final death knell of all the gun control. They know it. That's why they do all the things that they do. They 100% know that the common use test is what's going to kill them. All right, let's keep on going. Politically, not personally. A bill to prohibit I already showed you that part. Be it enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled, the act may be cited as the Modern Firearms Safety Act. I'm going to read you a few things here that are really important to this. Again, you'll see some things familiar. The Congress finds that state and local governmental requirements for handgun design that mandate features not ordinarily present on the affected models limit the selection of handguns available to law-abiding citizens in these jurisdictions, artificially inflate the price of constitutionally protected arms, present safety concerns by altering the intended design and function of the affected models, violate the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, and pose an unacceptable restraint on interstate commerce. The purpose of this act is to preempt any such requirements that exceed these imposed by federal statute. All right, these are the way you unravel this stuff. If you are in California, if you are in New York, or you are Illinois, this is the way to do it. Real life practical implications for the citizenry. Right here. Let me go through these one by one because I really like a lot of what they hit. That's why I'm doing this video. So they limit the selection of handguns available to law-abiding citizen jurisdictions. Yeah, it's a chilling effect on selection. That's the entire idea there. Artificially inflate the price of constitutionally protected arms. Yes, because you're cutting out all of the individual arms that are available and you're making a select few. When you make it a select few, that means more demand is going after the smaller supply. Price is going to go up. That's just economics. That's what they're saying. They're pricing you out of their rights through artificial means. Let's keep on going. They present safety concerns by altering the intended design and function of the affected models. Could be that. Violate the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. Well, that's obvious. And pose an unacceptable restraint on interstate commerce. Ooh. Oh, interstate commerce. The courts do not like that one. So interstate commerce, basically you're saying certain things can come in, certain things can't come in, but they can go everywhere else in the federal states, the federal organization. States ain't going, the courts aren't going to like that. So when you're looking at all of these pieces, this is the way that you argue this. Let's continue, though. Section 3, prohibition on imposition of requirements that handguns, generally absent from firearms, in common use. See that? Common use happens again. This is the entire point. Prohibition of imposition of requirements that handguns have certain features generally absent from firearms in common use. A department, agency, or instrumentality of the United States or of any state or political subdivision of a state may not implement or enforce any provision or law or regulation that requires or has the effect of requiring or promulgate any provision or regulation that would require or have the effect of requiring a handgun that is in or has been shipped or transported in interstate or foreign commerce to incorporate any design feature, functionality, safety mechanism, or performance standard that is not required by federal statute as a condition for the lawful manufacture, sale, or receipt of the handgun. Guys, then they go down all the different pieces, like I said, the chamber indicator, all those things. This is the way that you do this. You go after bigger, broader concepts, consumer safety, the actual artificial inflation of prices, which is chilling effect on the actual ownership of a constitutional right, the interstate commerce, which is being violated because of these state laws. Guys, if there was a way that you were going to just nail this to the wall, this is the way that you do it. This is the way. Think of The Mandalorian. If you are looking at doing it, this is how you do it. You go on a congressional level, which is going to impede the state level ability to interfere with the people's constitutional rights by hitting these types of arguments. And they threw in common use as a nice little cherry on top. Listen, I can't promise you that this bill is going to make it through the Congress. I can't promise you to get through the House. It'll be even introduced in the House. I don't know. But what I can tell you is when you've got high-level leaders of the Republican Party putting forward these things for their respective states, it's noticed. Everyone understands what's happening, and the arguments are excellent, and they're ready for when it's the right time. That's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.